Hey Flutter Dev, welcome to today's how-to video, where we're going to explore how to create a nice looking floating navigation bar and spice it up with some animations later on in the video. Stick till the end and let's get started. We can start by adding a simple list view using the list view builder. It provides context and index. We can return the list style, set the title to be text, and we can maybe just print out or show list, item, and index. Let's also wrap it with appended, so it knows how much height it can take up, so that we don't get the overflow. Yeah, that looks okay. The next thing that we need to add is actually the custom NavBar. So let's create one. Let's add a new file. And let's create a stateful widget called NavBar. Great. So it should accept in the items that we're going to show and method callback. So let's create an alias or type def as we know it. It will not return anything, and we can call it on item changed, and it will provide an int of a new position. Now we can add a property that will be called on item changed, which is required. As we said, we need the NavBar data or the items that we're going to show in the NavBar. So let's create a helper class, basically a data class. So NavBar data. It will contain either a icon data or string path to the asset that we want to load. Anyway, find icon data. It will be nullable or string, as we said, again nullable. And we can create a constructor now. Here, these both are optional. And let's actually, in the body of the constructor, assert that icon is not null, or that icon path is not null. Otherwise, we're going to throw an exception to the developer, so he knows he needs to set either one of those. Great. Now we have created the helper class, so let's add a new property, which will be a list of NavBar data, and we can call it NavBar items, maybe, just be clear. And it's also required, so let's add it to the constructor. NavBar items, great. If you want to actually build a NavBar, we can start, for example, with a container. Its height will be 56. We can set decoration to be box decoration, set the color of it to be black, set the border radius. We can use border radius circular, maybe to 32. Let's run it. Okay, yeah, we need actually to add it to the UI, so let's do that. We can add it below the expanded, so let's add it here, also import it. We need to add our fields, items, and changed. So as we can see, we have the NavBar here. So let's add some padding there. Let's add actual margin. And we can use the symmetric, put the horizontal to be maybe 32. And the vertical, we can set it, for example, to 60. Let's see how this looks. Yeah, this looks definitely better. Let's put maybe 24. Yeah. As we can see, we actually also cut off the top content, so we could also change it maybe to this one. So from the left, top, right, bottom. And let's set the left to be 32, top 0, right 32, and bottom 34. Yeah, cool. So let's go to the next one, which will be actually adding the children. You can use a row for that and set the main axis alignment to be a space between. And let's add children. So we need to construct from the list of NavBar items to construct a widget. So let's create a stateless widget that we can call NavBar item. It will accept in the NavBar data. Acquired. Yeah, great. Now we can actually build the item. So we can return a container. Okay, and we can set the height to be 48 and also width to be 48. And the child is, we will use in this case icon data, so we can say that it's icon and then data.icon. The icon's color should be white. Let's map the NavBar items here. So let's do that. Widget.navbar items. Let's map it. Add the list, since it's accepting a list, and we need to use the three dots to add to this existing list those lists. Yes, we save that, and now we can go to the main and actually create here the first NavBar data. We can set the icon to be icons.home. We can add something to be search. Third one can be favorite outline. Next is the shopping back outline, and the final one is person outline. If we save this and have a look now, we have almost the proper design. So what we want to do is actually also when we click on an item to highlight that it's selected. So we need to add the index here in the state that we have of the current position. And let's start by add 0. And we can also here add a new property. Let's add it here. Selected. And now we need to also pass it here is selected. And we can check if it's selected by checking the current index. Index of them. If it's equal to selected index. Let's add an underscore here, so we match it. Okay, if you do that, and now we can build selector based on the boolean. So the container we can add decoration box decoration, and the decoration will be radius border radius circular, and it should be half of the height. So I guess it should be 28. We'll make it soon, and the color should be white. And yeah, if we want on it to return it if it's selected. Otherwise, we want it to be null. Also, we want to change the color of the icon. If it's selected, the color should be black. Otherwise, the color should be white if it's not selected. Yeah, let's see. Okay, we're almost there. So we need to add some padding here to move it away from the edge. So we can add it here, the padding in this container. So we can add padding and it's symmetric, and we can set the horizontal to be Let's see if we set the index to be the last item. So it should be 4. We need to do a hot reload. Yeah, looks nice. Let's go back to the first index. If you change the index here and do just a hot restart, nothing's happening because the element tree didn't change. So we need to set here the key to be a unique key. Now we can actually add the onTap callback. So this will change the position of the selected index. So let's do that. We can wrap this NavBar item with a gesture detector. And on tab, we can actually set the state with the new position. Selected index is equal to, and we can just get it like here. Sorry, here. And now we can also call the widget on item changed and set it to be the selected index. So if we save it now and click somewhere, as we can see, the position changes properly. Just a quick reminder, if you like my videos and want to see more, please consider subscribing, liking and sharing my videos. Thanks and continue watching. Everything looks fine. The next step is actually to add some animations here, so that it looks a bit better. But first off, let's print the selected index. Or let's actually set it here. We can also create a new current nav index. Let's set it to be 0. Yeah, we can print it above here. Selected tab. Sorry. Select tab. And we can change it and set the state to be new position. So if we look here, we can see that the tabs are changing. Everything works just fine. Great. Now let's go back and actually add some animations. So let's create late animations controller. So in order for the controller to be initialized, this widget needs actually to be a stateful widget. Let's convert it to a stateful widget and use the init state. Now in init state, we can set the controller. We can create a new animation controller. We can pass the vsync this, set the duration to be duration milliseconds, 350 should be fine. And yeah, we actually need to use here if a single ticker provider state mixin. So we created a controller, but we also need to dispose it. So let's do dispose. Let's say controller.dispose. Great. Now we want actually to have two kinds of animations. First is have this circle actually start like the size 0 and increase the size until it reaches the maximum, and also the color to change from white to black. So let's create an animation here, and this will be of type double, and it will be the size animation. One for color, again animation, color, and color animation. Great. Now let's initialize the size. As I said, we can use the tween animation here, so let's do that. Tween, double, and we need to set the beginning. Let's set it to be size 0, and the end will be size 48. And now we actually can call animate, pass in the controller, and we can also add a listener here and set the state so that the UI will be rebuilt each time the value changes here. Spelled here double. Let's do that also for the color animation. Here we need to use actually the color. Again, we need to set the beginning. Let's set it to be colors white. And the end should be colors black. Again, we can call the animate and set state. And now that we created animations, we actually need to start the controller. And we call just the controller.forward. That's how we start the animations. Cool. And now actually we need to use those values. What happens here? So the value for the size animation will start at 0, and as the time progresses until 350, it will increase until it reaches the end, or 48. For the colors the same, it will start at color white, and as the time progresses, it will change to color black. So we can use those values by just getting it from the animation. So instead of size having 48, we can size that value, and also here size that value. And for the color, again, just use the color, and instead of white here, we can just get the value. Okay, let's see what happens. So if you change the animation here, it seems that we need to also add in if the state is selected. So instead of setting the colors to be white, we can check if it's selected. So widget is selected, and if it's selected, we set the colors to be white. Otherwise, we can set the color to be black. And here it should be vice versa. If it's selected, it's black, otherwise it's white. Let's do the same for the size. Let's do the same for the size. If it's selected, it's 48, otherwise it's 26. Maybe we need to set the unique key here. Something is used, so let's set the key. Be a unique key. Let's also add a check here. If the item is selected, then we only start the animation, so we don't have the blinking. We also need to extract the animations here, since they're going a bit off, as we can see. We need to center the both container and icon. We need to split them, so let's do that. Let's wrap it with the sized box first, and the size should be width 48 and height also 48. And now we can wrap the container with the stack, since we want the selector to be behind. So let's wrap it with the column. Change it to the stack. Here's the container, and we will just extract the image. And now we can align both of these in the center. Alignment center. Yes, and then this one also. Alignment center. Let's see. Now everything is center aligned. That's good. And we're seeing some strange things here. It's like the color is not correct. Okay, so we used the wrong colors here. Yeah, okay, let's change this. So if it's selected, the background color should be black. Otherwise, it should be white. Yes. And also here, we need to revert them to white and black. Let's overload. We can see how the size increases of the selector and how the icon color slightly changes with the increase of the size of the selector. So that works fine. So now we can actually change it from a column to a stack, so that the NavBar is actually floating above the list view. We can do that by wrapping the column with the stack. And let's see how this looks now. Yeah, so since the NavBar is inside the column that holds the text and the list view, let's move it out. If we position it inside the stack, we can also use the position widget to set its position to be bottom 0 and left and right also 0, so it's expanding in the whole parent. And now we can see that actually the NavBar is floating above the content. And if you change positions, still everything works just fine, and the NavBar stays there. As we saw, this is how we can easily create our own custom NavBar with small animations using the animation controller and twin animations.